I guess I could share with you that today I was thinking about what to do when you get in the weeds financially. It happens to the best of us. The best laid plans can be shot all to hell for things outside of your control. It doesn't have to be, just that you mismanaged. It could be that life gets in the way. Maybe you got slammed all at once with something breaking in your home and being sick and losing your job, getting laid off or something. And for whatever reason, you weren't able to pick up new employment and whatnot. It can happen. And what do you do when that happens? Well, to be honest, it's best to be a little bit proactive. There, each lender that you might have, each bill that you have, has its own different set of rules, and it helps to know ahead of time what those rules are and how lenient they can be about things. And I'll give you some for instances. We're going to divide things up into things that are signature loans, specifically collateral loans, credit cards, and utility bills, things of that nature. So, to start with, the one thing that should be the last thing that you're ever late on or behind on is your rent or your house payment. And I know that seems weird, but it is very, very true. The last thing you want to be late on is your rent or your house payment. Why? Because after 2 to 3 payments, things can go south in a hurry. You can be evicted after 2 or 3 late payments from your home. They could start proceedings against you if you have a mortgage. They could start eviction proceedings. Foreclosure is actually what they would call it. I'm sorry, not eviction. Eviction is what happens when you're an apartment dweller. Neither one are pleasant. Now, when you live in an apartment, not as many options. They want their money. When you have a mortgage, if you are 2 months behind, but not 3, you could call them up and you could work out some stuff with them. They could do what's called a mortgage modification. And a lot of times while that process is going on, they read you a disclosure that says, hey, you need to try and keep making your payments and blah, blah, blah. And you should. That is always great advice. But sometimes that's enough to buy you some time while you're going through that mortgage modification process to get the ship righted, so to speak. All right, car loans. I take a very dim view of car loans because cars are such a necessity. We need those to get back and forth to our jobs. And I don't like the prospect of getting in the weeds when it comes to your car loan and having that repossessed. The technology exists now to where if you're so much as even one payment behind, they can shut down your car remotely in order to get you to reach out, talk to them, or whatever, to make some sort of arrangements. They have zero sense of humor. They have zero reason to be lenient, zero leeway, zero F's to give when it comes to the money that you owe on your car. Why? Because that's a commodity that they can, in fact, easily repossess and easily turn around and sell. And if there's a difference between what they're able to sell it for and what you actually owed on the car, well, you're still on the hook for it. Something similar is actually true when it comes to foreclosing on your home, but that is a slightly more involved subject for another day. I want to continue on with what to do if you get in the weeds. So, the order of things, I guess, then would have to be car payment, then house payment if you live in a house. Otherwise, it's rent, and then it's car payment as far as who gets paid first when there is not enough money to go around. And I hope that's helpful to some people. Now, the third thing is your utilities. A lot of times, if you are 2 months behind, or at least 1 month behind on your utilities, you can make some sort of arrangement. especially with electric and water. Since these things are necessities in life, they are a lot more flexible, a lot more willing to work with you. Phone is another thing where they tend to be eager to work with you. You can work out something called a payment arrangement. So the key is being 1 month behind and having the self-awareness to know, hey, this month isn't any better. I probably need to let somebody know. I probably need to work something out and take action and give them a call. If they're sending you letters and nastygrams, give them a call. Once they've shut off your electric, your water, they want money. And that's the only way you're going to get it turned back on. Whereas, if you call, you can work out a payment arrangement. A lot of times those payments can be deferred. We've been in that situation. Our electric bill was deferred for, we had to, a little extra was added to the amount that we owed each month until we were able to catch things up and get back up to date, which was wonderful. That helped us. That was just the breathing room that we needed. So the last thing, the thing I haven't mentioned, is credit cards. And the reason is they take a dim view as well, but remember, the credit cards companies have gambled on your ability to pay them back. They oftentimes will be the loudest people when it comes to screaming for their money. They will send letters, they will call, they will pester you at every number that you've ever given them. And the fact of the matter is, it is a long, drawn-out process for them to get their money back from you. Now, after 3 months, they usually wait until you are 3 months behind, and then they cut off your account, cancel your account, close it out, things of that nature. You're still on the hook for the money, but that is part of the process, part of what happens during that period of time. Now, at that point, they send you to collections. Now, remember, credit card companies, they are the loudest, most annoying voices when it comes to screaming and clamoring for their money. And that's because, out of everything, they have the hardest time pursuing legal options to get that money back. Okay? They can garnish your wages and stuff, but if you have no wages to garnish, you can't squeeze blood from a turnip, can you? And they know it. That's why they scream and yell so loud, is because they try to intimidate you into giving them their money. Now, I'm not trying to say that you should not honor your obligations. That's not it at all. What I am trying to say is sometimes life gets in the way and things go to shit so bad that you have no choice but to triage who gets paid first. And so I'm hoping that you'll use some of this as an idea of how to prioritize those things. It should be, if you live in an apartment, rent first, car second, utilities third, everything else dead last. As far as if you live in a house, it's car first, then house payments second, then utilities third, and everything else dead last. And the important key element in all of this is, hey, communicate a little bit. Try to work out payment arrangements. If all you need is a little respite to get back on your feet, especially, reach out to those people, let them know, well, you know what, I'm going to hit that guy. Oh, that's some deer meat. Gimme. Oh, you're dead now. Yeah, if you reach out, a lot of times, oops, wrong thing. They're much more willing to work with you, and you could get a more favorable result. Now, I've talked about credit before, and I've left that out on purpose to the very end. I want to let it be known that any late payments, car loans, house payment, credit card bills especially, will definitely be reported to the credit reporting agencies. Will definitely impact your credit for up to 7 years. It will certainly impact your credit for at a minimum of 3 years, as far as negative and driving your overall credit score down. Your utilities, not so much. They don't tend to report to credit reporting agencies, but that's something you want to verify yourself. Don't just take anybody's word for it. Least of all mine, since I don't know your particular situation. I only know the particulars of situations that I've been in. Beyond that, when you do get back on your feet, you have options as well. If it's possible for you to get completely caught up on your house, usually you can stop foreclosure proceedings on your home right in their tracks. If you can get everything caught up on your utilities, everything can get turned back on. Or sometimes they'll work out an arrangement and just add the reconnect fees and everything else to that agreement, and those can get turned back on. For credit cards and whatnot, usually once they're turned over to collections, it's done, and you're stuck dealing with collections agencies. And there, you've got some options. We might talk about that another day. But there are certain circumstances where you might be able to settle those for less than what you actually owed. And again, I want to stress, as always, you should honor your contractual obligations with everybody. But if life, really decides to kick you in the nads, hopefully that'll help you to stop some of the bleeding, get some breathing room, get back on your feet.